as a teacher, one of the things that you're always trying to do is improve the quality of your discussions, right? You want students to participate in ways that, quantitatively are good, but then you also want them, to have high quality in terms of their responses. And so, but today's question really centers on the platform that you use to have these discussions on, and specifically online platforms. Can online discussion platforms increase student participation about what they read in your class? And if so, how might that look? That's coming up in this video. Hi everyone, I'm Lee Hall from Literacy Teachers, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to inspire, motivate, and change how your students read and write for academic success. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get notifications because I put out new videos each week. All right, so today's question comes from a high school English teacher who asks, do online discussion boards help students respond to each other's opinions about their reading selections? And I think that's a great question, right? Because we want to know, right, if we change the platform, does that help improve discussions in any way? And certainly with online discussion boards, there is this potential that exists where you can continue the conversation beyond the traditional classroom walls, right? So that's a good thing, right? That potential exists there. So the answer really to this question about if online discussion boards can help students respond to each other better about what they read is possibly, right? Because the key is in the structure and how you structure it. So online discussion boards, whether they work or not, in part is going to be let me back up. Online discussion board in and of itself is not going to be successful any more than a face-to-face discussion is going to be successful in and of itself, okay? What's going to be really important here is how you structure it, okay? How do you expect students to behave in an online discussion? And the things that you would think through here, while there are going to be some differences because it's online, it's not face-to-face, so there are logistically some things to think through in an online discussion board that you wouldn't have to think through in face-to-face, there are going to be a lot of similarities in terms of helping this succeed. And one is about student expectations. What do you expect from students, right? So if I'm a student in your class, what do you expect from me in terms of participation? So I need to understand what to expect from myself, but then I also need to understand what I should expect from my peers, okay? So when I'm posting something, what do you expect in terms of, length, right? Quality. When I'm making an initial post about something that I read, what's something that you think looks good, right? You're going to have to teach that to students and show them good examples and bad examples and talk to them about the ways how we talk about text and the language that we use. And then you're going to have to help them think through, how do we respond to what we read, right? So when you're reading something that another student has written, you don't want to just put, okay, good, or yes, I agree, or I didn't like the book either, and just call it a day. I'm sure as a teacher, that's not what you intend, right? And that's not what you want your students to do. So you have to think through, what do you consider to be a meaningful response or meaningful interaction? And this is something that I would go to your students with, prepared to discuss, and then get some input from them. They might be able to provide some input initially. If not, that's okay. Get the logistics and the expectations worked out as best as you can, and then let it go and understand that it's a starting point, not an end point, okay? And then once it's run for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, go back and revisit it. And that's when your students might be able to provide some input, right? What do you expect from your peers when they're giving a response? What are you happy with? What are you unhappy with? And what you expect from your peers when they give you a response is what you should also be providing them when you give them a response. So work up the expectations, and then you're going to have to do, really just work out the kinks, work out the bugs. And you can work that out collaboratively with your students if you desire. And I think doing so, one of the things that I hear teachers say in general is when they give students input in terms of how discussion should look, no matter what the platform, students have greater buy-in, they hold themselves more accountable, they hold each other accountable, and the overall quality goes up. So consider doing that, okay? Because an online platform, you always have the potential, students have the potential to speak more, right? Because they have time to process, they have time to think, they have time to formulate a response. There's nobody talking over them. They don't have to figure out how to insert themselves into a discussion. A lot of social cues that they have to pay attention to and be responsive to in a face-to-face class are removed in an online class, okay, or in an online discussion format. You just have to be sure that students understand what the expectations are for them and what they should expect from their peers. All right, so thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch all my videos. And while you're at it, let's talk more in the comments about online discussions. How do you use them with your students? What are things that you are finding that works? What are some things that are struggling with that you could use some help with, that we can help you think through? Let us know so that we can help you move forward with your journey.